What's going on, everybody? So, as I talked about in a video recently, I watched a movie called The Last Thing Mary Saw on Shudder. Isabelle Fuhrman was in that film, and I thought she was fantastic. And on the day that I watched that movie, I actually did an Isabelle Fuhrman double feature. I watched a film that she was in recently called The Novice, and I didn't really know very much about it, being that I really like her as an actress, and also this starred an actress who I really like, Amy Forsyth, who was in a wonderful television show called Channel Zero. She was also in the film Hellfest, and I find her to be a really great actress. She was also in Coda recently. And so with the two of them in this film, I didn't know literally anything about it, and I was super excited to check it out. The film I'm going to be talking about today is The Novice. The Novice is directed by Lauren Hadaway. A college freshman joins her university rowing team and undertakes an obsessive physical and psychological journey to make it to the top varsity boat, no matter the cost. I read a lot of Letterboxd reviews of this film that compared it to Whiplash, and I think there's some validity in this. You don't really have a character like J.K. Simmons' character, who is beating down on Miles Teller in that film and really forcing him to get to this certain level that seems unattainable, whereas in this film, Isabelle Fuhrman's character is beating herself up. It's a really fascinating character study about drive and determination and wanting to get to a certain level and what limits will a person push themselves to achieve something that they want. And what's really fascinating is information that's conveyed to you throughout this film that kind of it changes your perspective onto her reasonings for it and watching the levels that she's willing to go to get here. So the film introduces us to her character, and right off the bat, it's relentless. The editing in this film is so quick and amazing. There's so many incredible moments where the cinematography utilizes the sort of isolation and the intensity of this sport and what goes into it. So most of the film where you're seeing these intense moments is in their workout room, where Isabelle Fuhrman's character is constantly pushing herself to get to a level that she wants to be at. They use these rowing machines and they have to get to a certain time, and she's constantly pushing herself to get there. In one scene, she ends up like peeing herself. It's so insane. Like, she's pushing herself to this limit, and her coaches are constantly trying to talk her down and telling her like, hey, you're a kid, you need to relax, you need to go to school, you need to do all these things. And she's pushing herself because she wants to be the best. And you have Amy Forsyth's character, who's introduced, who is joining the novice team with her, and they tell him early on that it's really hard as a novice to make it to the varsity team. And she's like, hey, I want to do this and get a scholarship because I don't really have enough money to be in school otherwise, and I don't think there's anything else I can do to get myself a scholarship. And so the two of them kind of butt heads early on, but they're also friends. But you can tell Isabelle Fuhrman is kind of always has her in the back of her sights and is worried that she's going to kind of take over and make things more difficult for her to get to where she wants to be. And that's really a great part of the movie, is the chemistry between the two of them. And then you have her own personal life, where we don't really get an insight into her family other than she's supposed to come home for Christmas at one point. She refuses to go home for the holidays because she wants to stay and continue to train. And the coaches are a little off put by it at first, but they let her because she wants to do so well. She's constantly going out on the water by herself and pushing herself really hard. And then you have the relationships in her life. She has this hookup really early on with this guy that you can tell she's like miserable and awful through it. And she ends up kind of flirting with this teacher, who the teacher is watching over her when she's taking these exams. And this is really the first time you see her kind of like obsessively pushing herself, where she's going to school for her worst subject and she's trying to push herself to be the best in her worst subject. And so she will stay and take the same quiz over and over and over again and do it to where she has the full length of time to take the quiz. And instructor, she gets really upset that Isabelle Fuhrman's character is constantly staying so long. Well, one day they finally flirt and she asks her to go to this bar with her, and they start dating. And then you have the two women's relationship amidst the fact that Isabelle Fuhrman does the relationship because you can tell that she's into the girl and she wants to care for her and she wants something like that in her life. But rowing is her number one passion, and she keeps pushing that to where it kind of creates tension in this relationship and makes things more difficult. And so you have all those layered plot lines kind of getting you from point A to point B. And it's just a really exciting thrill ride, being just a plot of this person who's pushing themselves to be the best at this thing that they're trying to do. But aside from that, you just have great cinematography and amazing score. There's so many really unique visual moments, like when she's working on the rowing machine, everything will go black around her and she's almost like spotlighted in specific scenes. There's so many cool shots of the boats on the water. There's so many amazing moments, and I was just really impressed with the quality of this film. And obviously it was a little indie project, and I'm not sure how much recognition it really got. I believe it came out last year, but it was really an amazing film with some super strong performances. And the direction of this is great. I'm not sure if rowing is like a passion of this director or what brought this specific sport into play, but you really get immersed into this world and what it takes to be successful, and it's really a great watch. And like I said, you have all of those different elements into play. She starts like abusing herself and getting beat up because of how hard she's pushing herself. You see other girls on the team get injuries and have to sit out to where she's like trying to watch herself to make sure she doesn't push herself to that point. And it's just a really great film that I highly recommend checking out. I don't want to talk too much more about it because I don't want to give away specific details, but if you're looking for a really exciting, character-driven story, The Novice is for you. So have you seen The Novice? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was fantastic. I was really surprised at how good it was, and I'm actually looking forward to watching this one again. As always, if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm constantly putting out new material, looking to get the most exciting and fun stuff out there for you, and I look forward to putting more videos out in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.